These are 4 league winners that you can draft in round 5 or later in fantasy football. Starting at number 4, Dalton Kincaid. With Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis gone, there are now 241 targets that are up for grabs in this potent Buffalo offense. We saw the chemistry that Kincaid and Josh Allen developed as the season progressed, and it even became evident last year that Kincaid was one of Allen's favorite targets. Kincaid really turned into Josh Allen's safety blanket. I think he's the next Travis Kelce. He's got the skill set, the athleticism. The Bills want to use him like a receiver, like Kansas City does with Travis. Buffalo doesn't want to use Kincaid as a blocker. They're going to put him all over the field. Dalton has some nice experience in the slot from college. They're going to use him there. They're going to use him on the perimeter. They're going to put him in motion. This is all great things for fantasy. From week 7 to 18, Kincaid ranked 7th in target share, 9th in receiving yards per game, 11th in fantasy points per game, and 12th in yards per route run. Kincaid is on a good Bills offense attached to an elite quarterback in Josh Allen and figures to lead this team in all major receiving categories. At number 3, Rhamondre Stevenson. I was already in on Rhamondre before he got paid, but to see him get that 4-year, $36 million contract just reaffirms my beliefs that New England wants to use him as the workhorse back. No, I'm not worried about Antonio Gibson. I think we've been trying to make him a thing for the past 2 years. It's not happening. They brought him in to be a nice change of pace back, nothing more. And while Stevenson is coming off a really disappointing year, I'm still personally convinced that he was hurt through the first half of the season because he looked like a totally different back from weeks 9 to 13. Where over that span, he ranked 3rd in yards after contact per attempt, 13th in missed tackles forced, and was the RB12 in fantasy points per game. And that was with all the cards stacked against him. This team was horrible from the coaching staff down. Mac Jones was absolutely horrendous. Now they bring in Drake May, who I think is a big upgrade over Jones. Whether it's May or Jacoby Brissett, I don't care. It's a massive upgrade of what Mac Jones was last year. The coaching staff is completely different with Gerard Mayo at head coach. And I love offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, who's coming over from Cleveland, who has a run-first approach. I think it's going to be huge for Rhamondre Stevenson. I get people not wanting to draft Rhamondre this year after last season, but I think he's a great value in the 7th round. You have to look at situation and circumstance. Stevenson is not the problem. He's a very talented player. I think New England's offense as a whole got better. I think the wide receiver core is going to be much improved. Quarterback play is going to be better. Play calling is going to be better. I think Rhamondre is a great value pick in the 7th round. And I think he's going to be one of the guys we're going to look back at the end of this year and be like, man, he was a league winner. He was an Alvin Kamara where you got him in the 7th, 8th round, and he won you your league. At number 2, Jordan Love, who was the quarterback 5 in fantasy points per game last year. In his first year as a starter, absolutely unreal. He finished 2nd in passing touchdowns and 7th in passing yards. And caught absolute fire from week 11 on, leading the NFL in QBR, touchdown interception ratio, and total TDs. Along with completing 70% of his passes, and from week 11 on, he was the quarterback 3 in fantasy points per game. But what's even scarier is this young Green Bay offense is only getting better. They bring back pretty much the same unit, except they lose Aaron Jones, but replace him with 2 really good running backs in Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd. Jordan also carries some rushing upside, which we love in fantasy, finishing with 247 rushing yards last year and 4 touchdowns. I don't know about you, but this is giving me Dak Prescott vibes where you drafted him late and then he gave you top 5 upside in return. You can draft Jordan right now on Underdog at the end of the 8th, early 9th round. I think that's great value. He's going as the quarterback 10. If you like to wait on quarterbacks, he's someone you should absolutely be targeting. At number 1, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's coming off a very disappointing season from a production and usage standpoint. People forget that JSN fractured his wrist weeks before the season started. On top of that, Shane Waldron, their former offensive coordinator, did an absolute horrible job incorporating arguably their most talented player on offense. For some odd reason, Waldron thought it would be a good idea to turn JSN into a low ADOT player, as Jackson's 1.32 yards per route run ranked 57th, along with his 6.4 average target depth, which ranked 77th. But thankfully, Seattle brought in a new pass-happy offensive coordinator in Ryan Grubb, who likes to use a ton of 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receiver sets, which means JSN is going to get on the field a lot more this year. That being said, I still do think JSN takes over as the wide receiver 2 on this team, with Tyler Lockett entering his age 32 season. Over Grubb's 2 seasons at the University of Washington, he ranked 1st and 2nd in passing yards per game, and was top 5 in pass attempts both years. Any way you slice it, JSN is going to be heavily involved this year and is absolutely going to break out. JSN is currently the wide receiver 47 on Underdog right now. He's going in the 7th round. I think that's an absolute steal for a player, in my opinion, who has top 24 upside at his position. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.